Yes, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. Welcome back to BBK Sports. If you are serious to winning about the Premier League in 25-26, raise your hand. If you are serious about winning the Premier League in 25-26, raise your hand again, people. City, I see you over there in the corner. Big up, yeah, I see you. I see you, Pep. See what you're doing. Oh, the champs, Liverpool, I see you. I see you over there, Mr. Slot. I see you, Vert, Smo Salah. I see y'all. I see y'all on the training pitch over there doing bits. Anybody else? Oh, Enzo Maresca. I see you over there too. All right. You don't have it all the way up, but it's up. It's in the air a little bit. Need a little more chest behind that, but it's all right. Anyone else? Man United, Arsenal, runners up 3 years in a row. No expectations. No expectations. No. Or you didn't hear the question? Did you not hear the question? If you are serious about winning the Premier League in 25-26, raise your hand. Still nothing? All right, cool. All right. You just want to participate. Arsenal. You're cool. As long as you challenge, you're good, yeah? All right, fair enough. We can appreciate you coming out and say that. That's what it should be. If you're not serious about winning the Premier League in 25-26, just come out and say that. Quit trying to fool the fans. Quit trying to fool the fans with fancy PR linked with monitoring all this stuff, because you have assumptions and then you have facts. And the facts of the situations are preseason training has started. It has started yesterday, today, 2 days ago, whenever it started. It has started. Those are the facts. Another fact is that Arsenal Football Club have started their preseason without a striker when it was clear that's what we needed. That's what everyone says we need. That's what our manager said we were going to do. Talk to everyone. We're excited, goosebumps, yada, 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 all that stuff. I have the clip here. I can play it if I want to. Just say that. If you're not serious about winning the league and you just want to challenge, that is fine. Yes, that's my little 2-minute rant. To begin with, before I have to big up the legends in the chat, big up to Alvin. Yes, sir. Big up to man like Mr. Battered. Hope you are well over there in Singapore. You sure you want to go waste your time watch these men play? Big up to Bluebird and big up to the hardest working mod in the business. AJ is here. He says hit the like if you haven't already. It really helps me out. It does. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Darren, dude, bro, I honestly think the season's already done. So, AJ, on that point, I've sat here right here on this channel before, and I have said, if the season starts slow, it's going to get toxic at the Emirates. It's going to get very toxic at the Emirates Stadium. Put that back a little bit. It's going to get toxic. But bun that, it's toxic right now. It's already toxic. And what frustrates me about the toxicity is that the people, and let me just say, first of all, I do not agree with any of the abuse or the personal messaging that fans are sending madueke. One of the reasons why you can't find me on X or Twitter, people, because I'm not on there. It's not a real place. It's a cesspool. You can find me here on YouTube and Instagram that I post the link to lead you back to this channel. I'm not on there. But what frustrates me is that the people who are upset at the people who are upset. How are you upset at Arsenal fans for voicing their frustration? This is the ultimate gaslighting session. When you ignore the people, ignore the will of the people, and then wonder why they're frustrated, why they're upset. We don't know anything about football, no? Okay, all right, fair. But I bet they wish they had listened to our non-footballing opinions on Sterling. I bet they had wished they listened to our footballing non-opinions on Willian. How did that work out? I bet they wish they had listened then. But they ignored the people again. They ignored the fans again and said, nope. Not only are we going to sign one Chelsea reject this year, we're going to sign 2. And we're not even going to sign a striker. We're not even. We're going to start our preseason with Kai Havertz as our striker, as if we're going into the season with Kai Havertz as our striker. And if the window closed today, that's what it would be, people. That's what it would be. Now, nothing screams, I want to win the Premier League title than starting the preseason without your main targets. Your main targets that you told us we would get goosebumps about, they're not in the squad. And if they are, we're nowhere near the title. Because if we were meant to get goosebumps over Zubimendi, Kepa, Norgard, and Madueke, then we are dead. Bury the club. So this can't be it. So you are starting preseason and we are nowhere near our main targets. Nowhere near it. And let me remind you, people. Let me remind us. Chelsea Football Club plays in the final tomorrow to win their second trophy of the season. They're playing a final tomorrow. What does it say how much they value Madueke if they are willing to let him leave on the eve of a final? I don't rate. We're about to play the biggest game of our season, and I'm willing to let you go. Even Liverpool had to wait on Verts to finish the Nations League, which is a new competition that no one really rates. Let's be honest. They are glorified friendlies. Glorified friendlies. But they are willing to let this brother walk the day before the final. That's how little they think of him. And we're supposed to be happy about it. Surplus the requirements at Chelsea. And we're supposed to be happy about it. Now, I saw an article the other day, or yesterday, or the day before, that says the available numbers at Arsenal Football Club that Nani Madueke could wear. And I think the number that he does pick will tell us about his role in the team and just how much game time he will get. Because some of the available numbers, of course, we know he is an attacking player. So the numbers are 10, 14. And for the older guys who actually value the numbers at the club, this could actually cause them to have a meltdown. If we put Madueke in theory on Ree's number, then it's Bergkamp's number. Yeah? But also available is 20, 18, 30. And if he takes the number 20 shirt, the number 30 shirt, no one cares. But if he takes the number 10 shirt, the number 20, the number 14 shirt, he expects to play heavy minutes. Right? And if he's coming to be a right winger back up for soccer, you're not playing heavy minutes. You don't play there. There are two clubs in the Premier League. If you are a right winger, you go there, you go in there to deputize. If you go to Arsenal, you go to Liverpool, you're not playing heavy minutes on that right wing for Arsenal or Liverpool. There is an order. So what this? I mean, am I reading too much into it? To the chat. Big up to all 24 y'all locked in. The fact that they're letting him walk the day before they play a final tells me that they don't rate this man the same way we don't. So why are they upset at the Arsenal fans for being upset? Make this make sense, people. I'm gonna cut you loose before the biggest game of the season. Come on, people. Big up to the Latvian Gooner. There is his link, people. There you see him. Make sure you are subscribed to the Latvian Gooner. Fantastic content over there, Mr. Robo, formerly known as Mr. Robo TV. Big up to Mr. Batter. Darren, serious question. Don't you feel better seeing players back in training, though? No. You know why, Mr. Batter? Because we haven't made any significant additions to the squad. We can't just run it back. Liverpool could have replaced Trent and ran it back because you won the league comfortably. But I don't feel better at all. I actually feel worse because we haven't made any significant additions to the squad. The squad last year wasn't good enough. We haven't made any significant additions to the squad, and I'll explain. Is Kepa a significant addition? No, he's a backup goalkeeper. Norgard. Was he any better than Jorginho? Jorginho was an accomplice. Jorginho won Euros, Champions League. Jorginho's name was on a Ballon d'Or list in 2021. Make of that what you will, but Jorginho is a highly rated footballer in world football. He was just dead when he came to us from Chelsea, like the rest of them. Who else have we signed? Nani Madueke. Is that a significant addition? No, I don't think so, in my humble opinion. Zubimendi is not an addition. He's a replacement. I chose my words very carefully because words matter. It seems to Mikel and his cult following that his words don't matter. He can just come out and just say any old shit and they'll just lap it up. We have not made any significant additions to the Arsenal team. So me seeing them in training, but like, okay, this is a team that's not going to win the league. That's my position on that. Hope that answers your question, my bro. Mr. Batter, I definitely don't, because it means we're closer to another season of pain and arguments. Yeah. And it's not even, it doesn't even pain me anymore, AJ. It's numb. Like, I'm numb, like the shit that the dentist put in your gums before they pull your teeth. You feel the pressure, but you don't feel the pain of them actually yanking your tooth out. It's a mad one. AJ bigging up the Latvian Gooner. You already know. It's already toxic. Look at the murals. Yeah. But they're just going to pretend like this is just coming out of nowhere. They're just vandalizing the place because they have nothing to do. No, they're sending you a message. They're sending you a message. Stop cleaning up Chelsea's trash. Stop helping Chelsea. Every time we hear these men are in PSR problems, we want to go help them out. No, you let them fall flat on their fucking face. It's a buyer's market. If you have PSR problems, it's a buyer's market. And then we'll get him on a $5 million loan, not a £50 million bid, while we're haggling over $5 million for the striker that we need. But we'll get into more of that as we go. But I have to engage the chat. Big up, man. I hear that, and I can't even say nothing to argue. Yeah, I don't. I mean, now, Mr. Batter, there are fans who were actually, trading videos and this and that. And speaking of videos, you've seen the same people who were ripping Madueke to shreds last year now making compilation videos of how good he is. His take-home percentage, his aggressiveness, his directness. Come on, people. That energy consistent. Last year, everyone was calling him shit. Everyone was calling him shit. Even Chelsea fans. I think the only fan that was bigging him up was Don from Greasy Don that used to be on Never a Father that used to gasp by the way. Yeah. Big up to Wahaha. Yes, man, some digging up going on. But I don't know, people. I don't know. I am not happy about the training pitches, Mr. Bat. Mr. Bat, I feel sorry for the players because not a single player so far has been good enough. I hear it. But there are people who disagree. And joining me today, people, is man like Kape who actually disagrees. Kape actually believes that some of these men are good enough, and I'm here to hear it, man. I'm here to hear it. I don't want to just be the angry guy on YouTube ranting, but making his debut on BBK Sports. He does have a channel. I will pin it in the chat here in a second, people. But bro, what you telling me, man? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to BBK Sports. You're good, yeah?
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man.
Making my debut, man. Obviously, we're watching a lot of the content. It's good content, great community on here, of course. And yeah, man. Summer window, very, very interesting. Definitely feel like we might hang on opposite sides, but I think we're both sensible guys. So I feel like we both will talk about sense of football. So
so
I'm happy to be here, man.
So tell me how you feel about if Arsenal Football Club were playing in a final tomorrow, yeah? Do you think we let one of our wingers that we rate go to a rival when we play in a final tomorrow?
Oh, hell no.
Right. So it tells me that how much they value Madueke because they're playing a final tomorrow. Arguably their biggest game of their season because this is bigger than the Conference League. They're letting them walk when they play a final tomorrow. That tells me that they know something we don't. Well, it's not that they know something we don't. They know something that Mikel doesn't see because Mikel seems like he can get something out of Madueke, and this is.
But Chelsea didn't want to lose him. I'm correct though. If I'm wasn't that what Mesko was saying? Obviously, this is all public talk, so I'm not going to be act like we know how clubs run. But the one thing I would say that I comment on this whole thing, obviously, with the transfer from Chelsea, we're all Arsenal fans, innit? No one likes buying from rivals unless you're buying their best player or a position that's a big hole in our team, innit? And Chelsea, if we look at the business that we've done with them over the years from the beginning of time, you probably could name about 2 or 3 two or three, signings that you'll say have done decent, and the rest obviously have been quite underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem with Chelsea, as I said, as an example, is that Chelsea are stock loading a lot of talent in many positions at a young age. I mean, meaning that obviously, I'm pretty sure all of us were bantering Chelsea when they're spending 1 billion on transfers. But then I started to wrap my head around it. They're either telling these players that we're going to give you a career at Chelsea, or we're a good enough selling club that we have enough links and relationships with other clubs that we can get you moves. So
Right.
if you look at it like that, Chelsea are becoming, a more premier Brighton, where you have a lot of good players that teams wouldn't mind buying. No one's buying. I don't think me and you both would say madueke is going to walk into our starting lineup, or would walk into your starting lineup, or would play for Arsenal starting lineup. So obviously, clearly, we're buying them as depth. And I think for madueke, obviously, is a move up for him, seeing that the wages are the same. So I feel like I think it's a bit more difficult than that, because you can look at it both ways. Positive Arsenal would be like, oh, he wants to come to Arsenal, so he's leaving for a final. Chelsea fans would be like, oh, like, look at his mindset if he's leaving before, one of the biggest games, even though we know Chelsea are going to get their arse handed to them tomorrow. But
You think so? You think Chelsea?
you see that PSG team, there's only, I feel like there's only two ways to beat them. You have to out physical them,
Mm.
in the sense of like you have to have more imposing physical natures towards them, or you got to be a better footballing team than them. And I don't think Chelsea are there yet. Although I do like Chelsea, I just think PSG are,
You
on the
don't think
run.
Chelsea can 1-0? Because Chelsea 1-0 City in the Champions League final, where they were overwhelming underdogs against Chelsea.
Yeah, but that's Man City, who we can argue Pep Guardiola loves to play, more of a controlling style, more of a, do you know what I'm saying? Whilst, and obviously, but that's Pep Guardiola making a big change in that final, not starting.
Rashford.
Do you know what I mean? And PSG, they're like, I know Luis Enrique has always been a gun ho type of manager in terms of how he likes his team to play, whilst it's still being possession way. So I feel like, with all due respect to Chelsea, I just don't feel like it's gonna happen. But I do understand what you're saying. Like madueke leaving, it doesn't. You can take it both ways. I don't know how you take it, so I'm pretty sure you can explain to me.
I take it as, if you don't learn from your past mistakes, you're about to repeat them, and it seems like that's what we keep doing. If we went to Chelsea right now with 100 million for Cole Palmer, I don't think Chelsea sell Cole Palmer to us. I think they tell us to piss off. I think we would go to Chelsea and ask, hey, can we get Caicedo off you? They'd be like, no. But they were quick to sell us William. Well, no, William wasn't a free, but they were quick to sell us Havertz after he won them a Champions League. They were quick to sell us in Madueke. That tells me that they don't rate these men. And normally when players leave Chelsea, with the exception of Lukaku, typically when someone leaves Chelsea, they go one way. Even
Salah and
Eden
Kevin De
Hazard,
Bruyne.
even now, Kevin De Bruyne went to all over the place. He went to Wolfsburg. He went other places and cooked. You know what I'm saying? Even Mo Salah went to AC Milan and developed. And that was a Mourinho time when Mourinho wasn't a developed players type of coach. He was like, win now, because he knew the heat on Chelsea. Rambridge was firing coach left and right. Typically, when players leave Chelsea and go to another Premier League club, they're dead. And we have we have recent examples of that, in our squad right now. Because the fact that
Who's that? May I ask? Because if it's Havertz, I don't think he's a failure, but that's another conversation for another day.
we can have the conversation, my bro. Because Havertz, I can make the argument that Havertz has failed in two positions, at Chelsea and at Arsenal. That's why we're actively looking for a striker right now.
But then if you ask that case, then that means any signing that we're actively looking for, then every player is a failure, right?
No. Timber is a banger.
Yeah.
Timber is a banger.
Yeah. So then is Ben White not a banger then?
Yeah, Ben White's a banger. Timber is a banger.
Yeah, but ultimately, when you're building a squad, like I'm pretty sure, because obviously I didn't watch a lot of your streams during the season, like when it was dark, when we were seeing some nonsense front threes, obviously given the availability of our squad and the team not necessarily the club not necessarily doing what they need to do last summer to give us enough tools to attack the season. Whoever you want to put that blame on, obviously that's for everyone to do. No one can necessarily know the finer details, but I feel like the problem with us is that it's hard, because I'm with you. Like when we get to the end of the summer, which we've been Arsenal fans for a long time, we know Arsenal don't just go and spend 50 million on a backup isn't something Arsenal do. So till they prove that is either something they're going to do moving forward, or for example, something that they're going to in terms of like it doesn't affect the other deals that we potentially are trying to do, which obviously I don't think Arsenal are going to do everything. It's it's interesting to see. But I'm pretty sure for me, how I'm just taking it for now, I'm like, there's no insane or sane or smart person that could look at Arsenal's squad last season and think options are not needed, because relying on players that have got almost every player in our team got injury last year, almost every player. So if you're just trying to protect the players that you believe are good in our team, like, I'm gonna have to assume that you're gonna have to try and buy adequate replacements or adequate depth. The problem is, obviously, if the funds don't get used everywhere that we need, then a conversation comes back to the club. But we'll have to wait and see. So
yeah, you said a lot there, and here's the we'll clear through the fog there, right? Because when Kai Havertz was bought, Mikel says he's a midfielder. That's what he bought him as, a midfielder, essentially to replace Xhaka at the left A. Didn't work there, so he moved him up front, and he's leading the line for Arsenal Football Club as a number 9. Hasn't worked there, so we're looking for a striking out. So that's my premise. That's the baseline that I'm laying the foundation out of.
But why do you? But then obviously, cool. I'll ask you another question then. Like, if Kai Havertz, does any adequate squad trying to compete for Premier League title only have one striker?
Does any other squad competing for the Premier League title has
just one recognized striker?
Yeah. So who's the striker that Havertz replaced in the front line?
Gabriel Jesus, who's just constantly unavailable. Right.
Okay, I hear that. So here's the thing. You know how we say that we have outgrown Jesus? We signed Jesus, we signed Zinchenko, we've outgrown these men because these men got us challenging, got us into the top 4.
I don't necessarily say that. That's just like a generic social media.
Yeah, but it's real, because when we signed Gabriel Jesus, going into that 2022-2023 season, no one expected a title charge from Arsenal. No,
of course not.
Right. So when we came out and blitzed everyone and got 50 points from 19 games, everyone was like, "Yo, Arsenal are serious." The following season was the first time in a long time Arsenal Football Club went into a season with expectations, right? And then we went into the season with expectations, and then Jesus didn't hit the levels. He didn't. That's why Havertz started to lead the line. So I think
but the argument that Jesus didn't hit the levels, obviously, and I'm not here to like be a Jesus defender, because he's never had a prolific goal scoring record throughout his whole seasons as a player. But I'm pretty sure everyone can see that the ACL injury he suffered in the World Cup pretty much deterred the way his game style is operating in, because a player that is nimble, is dribbly, uses a lot of lateral movements is going to be affected. That's not to blame on anyone in the club for someone getting injured. Obviously, your rebuttal was obviously going to be you went to buy Havertz as the replacement, knowing Jesus obviously wouldn't be the same. Cool. So let's just say Havertz is the Jesus replacement. Jesus obviously, clearly, if Arsenal thought maybe he has one more season in him last season, done his other leg, obviously an ACL. Unluckily, and it's not his fault, and I feel sorry for him, because I think Jesus is a good player. I don't know what your opinion of Jesus is as a player, but end of the day, like, he's not reliable. So the club buying a striker, I don't think you're gonna measure it on. I don't measure signings as failures, because then again, I gave you the example of Timber and White. We bought Timber, and in my opinion, Timber will start as right back in my team. Not that Ben White isn't good enough. I just like what Timber brings as a complete package. But the relevance of having Ben White there is still key, because in an event of a Timber injury or rotation, you want adequate level to rotate. I'm not saying that's consistent for our whole squad, but especially in the front areas, where last season, when most of our starting guys from the previous seasons were injured, we saw what that backup string of players done, or couldn't do, I should say. So I always say, like, obviously, you can always pinpoint things looking at, this is an upgrade on this player's upgrade on that player, but we have to really and truly upgrade the squad, because at different points in the season, there's going to be different players playing at different points. So if you have such a big discrepancy between your starter and your replacement, I think that's where the problem lies. And you don't see that in teams like Liverpool, at least in their front line, teams like Man City, where there's a big discrepancy between a starter and rotationary piece, which has been a problem at Arsenal for a long time. I'll hand it over to you, sir.
Yeah, so the levels before Jesus got his injury and the levels that he was hitting and Kai Havertz's best season for us are pretty similar. The numbers are very pretty similar, right? So if you failed, if you know you needed a strike force after you see that Jesus wasn't it, then you go into a following season and you think that the guy that can bridge the gap on that Manchester City machine was Kai Havertz, then I question your judgment. Because Kai Havertz, I don't even blame Kai Havertz at this point, because Arsenal fans who hate Kai Havertz are asking him to do something he's never done in his career, and this is score 20 Premier League goals. In his entire 3 seasons at Chelsea, he mustered up 18 Premier League goals combined. So I don't blame the guy. I just knew what he was. So when the manager goes signs him, when we have a guy that's scoring 40 goals at Man City, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? But then you tell us you bought him as a midfielder, but then he ends up leading the line for us. And then you go through three more windows. And all you sign is defensive players and goalkeepers. When we clearly know that our defense has been the best in the Premier League for 2 seasons running. Our midfield is not the greatest in the world, but we've challenged with that midfield. And our attack is where the problem is. And then going into this season, where it's a make or break season in my eyes. Well, it was a make or break season 2 seasons ago for me. But he's moving as if though he has infinite time in the job, where he's just signing other players from Chelsea that Chelsea have outgrown. We are meant to be further in our process than Chelsea are in theirs.
But the difference with Chelsea and how they're moving, I mentioned the first thing I walked in, obviously, and I think I'll answer it back to what you said. Chelsea are a selling club. Like next summer, you're going to see a lot of players that you would have thought are starters at Chelsea move. Whether that's lateral moves to better club, and I would argue Arsenal are a better club than Chelsea right now. So for Madueke, it's a better move.
They can be a selling club all they want to, but just not to us. Don't sell us your shit, your trash.
Yeah, but then it's always a consideration of what's trash. Like, for example, I don't like Sterling. I never liked Sterling for a long time, and I'm not going to get into that conversation. So I wasn't happy with that signing last year when we clearly loaned him, and I can clearly tell that wasn't a Mikel signing based on the usage of him, even when there were so many injuries in the squad. That's enough for me to know that not everything is on the manager in terms of the decisions that are made on signings. And that's always been the case in Arsenal throughout the history of time. Like, where Arsenal don't do the business they need to do and is necessary to either keep us competitive or elevate us. We've seen it many a time when Arsenal get to that. They have us, for example, we had a season last season where we had 89 points. Sorry, season before, 23-24, so 89 points. In your argument, obviously, we didn't win the Premier League, but obviously we got so close. Final day, you're hoping that, something goes wrong with Man City and we win the game and win the league. Obviously, which would have changed the narrative, because Mikel's argument would be, I brought in Kai Havertz, and that season in the running, he scored enough goals, and we won the Premier League. Didn't happen, but I'm saying that could be an argument. If that's on Mikel, that he went to the board and said, I think this attack is good enough, just get me Calafiori and Marino, and we can go again. I don't believe any manager in world football goes to a club that has resources like Arsenal and says, I don't want us to maximize a window. I'm not being like a Arteta sexual or deluded. I'm just like looking like logically, especially where off the back of this situation where you don't have a big squad and you've sold players like Smith Rowe and Nketiah, and you let Nelson go that got minutes that wasn't that critical, but minutes that were still definitive to be part of a squad. I don't think Mikel said, let them go and don't get me anyone in because I want to have this small squad to manage. I definitely will say he will definitely always he will never ever badmouth the Cronkies in public, because obviously those are the people that employed him and made him one of the highest paid managers currently in the world. And I don't think anyone in any walk of life will badmouth their boss publicly, knowing that will probably result to you losing your job, right? We're all intelligent people. So I think the problem is that now, obviously, Arsenal need to attack two positions that we think that we all know we need. Striker and left wing, I feel like we need an upgrade on the starting quality level, in my opinion. For what your reason might be, my reason might be, I need a striker that scores goals, and I need a left winger that creates the same amount of gravitas that Saka does, so that we're not so biased in how we play in terms of the right-hand side. I'll let the club do what they need to do. If they get to the end of summer and we don't even get Gokeres or Sesko, and we get someone that's very, very unsatisfactory, and we get a left winger that doesn't make sense, trust me, I'm the first person to change my narrative, because I like to gain the facts to give a judgment. I don't really like to be reactive, even though we're on a reactive type of scenario because we make content and stuff, because the absence of evidence makes you have to constantly shift your opinion. I just like to see what happens.
You think Antonio Conte is an intelligent manager?
Antonio Conte, I think in his area, in the era where his football was relevant, yeah, obviously
was relevant. He just won Serie A.
That's another conversation for a different day.
What you said there when you said no intelligent manager would do this thing as their boss. Antonio Conte was at Tottenham, and when Daniel Levy was moving shaky, man come out and said, "Yo, XYZ, this is not good. This is not." Then he leaves there. He goes to Inter, walks the league. Inter wasn't backing him. He leaves there. goes to Napoli, loses Kvaratskhelia, he loses Osimhen, loses his best players, get washed up. Scott McTominay from Man United and Gisa, who flushed out of Fulham, and wins the league.
But then that's you walking. But that's you walking into my point. Like if you're comparing the level of Serie A to Premier League, and I'm not saying
I'm comparing the manager because Conte won in the Premier League as well.
Yeah, but he won
the first season in the Premier League. He won the league,
and that goes back to my point. The first one I made when his era was there, where the type of football that Conte likes to play was still something that can win at the highest level. And I'm not saying Serie A isn't the highest level. I'm just saying a league where, for example, Napoli, if I'm pretty sure, finished outside the top 10 last season, the season before, if I'm correct. They didn't have no Europe or nothing like that. And obviously the next season they won the league. Do you know what I mean? AC Milan that won the league a couple of years ago finished 10th. Like, I'm not disrespecting the league. I'm just saying you don't see the same level of up and down, minus an anomaly like Man United last season, where you see, you know, top teams not finishing near the same. Like Man City have been competing for the league for the last 10 years. Liverpool, same thing. Arsenal have been competing for the last 4 years, 2-3 years, for example. And you have teams like Tottenham, Chelsea that are always going to be in and around there. It's kind of the same consistent teams. Obviously, yes, Newcastle have kind of crept into there. In the Serie A, you don't see a team that finished 10th the season before going to win. That's not happening in the Premier League, for example. With all due respect.
You know what? See, that's the thing, though. You just walked into my point because the Chelsea team that he used to win the league in 2017 finished 10th.
Okay, and that's why I said we're not in that era no more. Because we're not in that era no more. Because, for example, Conte was at Spurs, and of course, everyone knows how Daniel Levy is as an owner. Like he's like, I don't need to. We're not Tottenham fans. So I don't care how they run. I want them to be shit. But if you're just looking at it in isolation, he's a crap CEO because he's not even the owner of the club, for example. Although obviously ones will argue what he's doing this summer is interesting, obviously given the fact that they've made Champions League. I don't think like that type of manager can win a Premier League whilst you have the type of manager like Pep Guardiola, someone I rate like Mikel Arteta, Arne Slot that play the kind of football they do. In Serie A is a bit different. That's why you can have someone like Scott McTominay, who never was really that good in the Premier League, go over there and be quite great. Lukaku, who seems to have lost his Premier League spark, go over there and he's found a home. I think it's a bit different when you come to the Premier League and
could he just be a good coach?
I think he's a good coach. I'm saying there's just. I never said he's a bad coach. I just said I don't think his era is going to win at the top level because, for example, we're going to see Napoli in the Champions League, and if they win Champions League, I'll come here. I'm pretty sure we'll make a lot more content and I'll take it back. But I just don't see that happening. Not with the type of football that they play.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy who's won 2 league titles with 2 different teams since Arteta has won anything. You know what I mean? So would you have him at Arsenal?
But I'm pretty sure when he won that league title at Chelsea, I'm pretty sure Arteta was never.
No. I'm talking about when I say league title, I'm talking about in any league because now we can't because Liverpool fans before Arne Slot got there was the only thing they had to stand on what he won in the Eredivisie with Feyenoord, and apparently, well, other leagues matter because he came and walked the league in our head tops. So it does matter when you manage a team, whatever league you're in, to the top of the table.
Okay, so do you think? Go on. Just out of curiosity, do you think Arne's not saying walks the league this year, but would you put Liverpool as favourites to win the league then, since obviously they walked the league last season? Okay. Yes. I don't personally, innit? But conversation for a different day.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on back. Have you back off of that one.
I don't. But like it's understand like there's reasons why things happen in it. For example, like if Arsenal had done what Liverpool done last year and won the league, I'm pretty sure most rivals would use as an excuse of everyone had gone through their injuries, everyone had gone through their Man City, or let's say Liverpool had the injuries Arsenal had, and that's why you kind of had a situation to win the league. I think it's kind of a hard thing to judge because I'm saying Mikel, you're judging Mikel based on one job, innit? Like if he leaves Arsenal, for example, and goes to other leagues and wins, I don't think that now makes him the best manager because I still say in that moment at Arsenal where you had a lot of the tools, you built the squad up, you couldn't do it.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, big up to everyone that's watching. Big up to all 20 of y'all locked in and watching right now. I got a question for KP from Mr. Batterman. He's a Liverpool fan, good guy around these spaces. But yeah, he has a question for you.
What he said, looking ahead of the season, do you feel that your squad is adequately prepared to win trophies, not challenge, win? Because you've been challenging for 3 years. As our squad is right now, no, because we still have business I feel like is necessary for me to give me the confidence to kind of expect to win. There's a different, like, in terms of I want to win, yes, but if our squad is as you're saying, like if you compare our squad to Liverpool or Man City, and you're saying our squad is better, I think it's kind of unfair to expect your team to win when you know for sure you don't have the tools to compete at the highest
Really?
level.
I don't know. So did Leicester have the best squad in 2016?
Again, anomalous season. So
So what? We need
I'm
to.
not saying that's
What it was is an anomalous season was part of it. I hear that, but what you had was a good coach and a team that played above their level.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why the season, the following season, they didn't compete the same. Like they didn't like.
They lost N'Golo Kante, their best player, their best midfielder, world class midfielder.
Yeah, they
That's
lost N'Golo Kante.
hmm?
Okay, but then if Arsenal lost their best player, you're gonna expect the Premier League
But we
champions to
didn't.
replace.
We didn't lose our best player in 23-24. We didn't win the league, and we didn't win anything. That's the point. That's
Yeah,
what
and,
most
and
people who are in the
I'm in
chat right now.
agreement, but I'm like, if you get to 89 points against Man
Mm,
City and they get 91 points, my whole point of being that close, obviously everyone can take a different point. Some man might be like the manager might need to change because the squad's good enough. I'm pretty sure a lot of don't think the manager's good enough to win.
mm,
Then I would argue, then do you feel like the squad is good enough to win?
mm.
I'll pose that to you. Do you think our squad currently as constructed, to put that question, is good enough to win the Premier League then?
Yes.
Okay. So would you say that injuries last season was a big contribution to why we didn't win the league, or it's not? It's an invalid reason, for example?
I can't make that argument because the season before that, injuries were kind to us, and we didn't win the league then.
Yeah, I know, but then if I'm looking at the discrepancy in how our season went previously, where we didn't have that many injuries and we got to the final day against Man City, who had just won their fourth league in that year, and you're looking at a season where we had unprecedented type of injuries all over our squad, it's a fool that would say it didn't affect us challenging for the league because
But
our squad
KP,
was thin anyways.
but most of these injuries you can point back to them because even rivals, even fans who hate us and don't like us, when they come in my stream, when they come in the show, when I'm on their show, on their panel, they tell me that Saka's overplayed.
Okay.
He's overplayed. Saliba has played the most minutes. Gabriel overplayed. And no wonder why these guys, it's not a coincidence that these guys, we had 4 grade 3 tear hamstrings in the squad. That's what happens when you overplay players. So
And I
you can
agree.
point all these injuries back to the manager.
And okay, and that's understandable, and I agree. And if you want to hold a manager accountable for that, I'll never tell you not to. But then, in that same breath in which you're saying, you can't then argue if the club is then addressing those issues that you just brought up, like buying another striker so Havertz that can't always play because Jesus isn't fit, or buying a right winger like madueke so Saka doesn't have to play every game, or you know what I'm saying, getting an adequate, even getting an adequate keeper like Kepa, who is better than Neto, whether you want to argue or not. That because after Neto against Girona, I think it was that booked it for me. But it's another Edu type of signing that probably was the reason why he left. And I feel like with the links that we've been linked to in terms of mascaras, obviously getting Norgay, getting Zubimendi, trying to fill the gaps of the squad. That's why I say I'll judge the squad. For me, the window is judged on. I'm not trying to enter next season and it's if Saliba gets injured, then oh my days, we don't really have anyone. Or if this player gets injured, then I don't. That's not what I'm really trying to hear because you don't go through windows and windows. All this PSR, you know the prize money you get for finishing second, going to Champions League finals, etc. The money and revenues you know Arsenal make, and then it's getting to the window, and if it's not the expensive signing you want to get, there's adequate players that you can get on cheap prices that can provide cover for your team. That's why I'm like, but the problem why I struggle to hold Arteta accountable, and I'll answer this question that this guy put there, for example, is we've seen this trail history through Arsenal for time. I remember the I think the season you're talking about, Leicester, and then Arsenal bought Peter Cech and bought no one else or something like that. Like where we know we needed midfielders or
Outfield players. We bought a goalkeeper in the
do you know
entire
what I mean?
squad.
Like, or January's we were loaning up Kim Kallstrom or Dennis. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the club has shown like a level of they don't want to push because I don't think any manager in world football goes to like I just saying you brought the Conte example and obviously yes, Conte has a CV. So if he goes to a club and they don't hold it up to his own standard, he's not going to stay there, innit? And that's expected of anyone that has a CV. If a young player, for example, like Ethan Wanyeri, has no CV in it, he can't be making demands, even if his talent level is there, until he gets that CV and playing time and level of, like respect. Then you can start kind of making moves and demands that are warrant to your talent level and your experience. With Mikel Arteta, as much as you might say he's comfortable at Arsenal, or maybe it's the two. Maybe Arsenal are the same club we've been seeing all these years, and they don't really want to win. They don't really want to do what it takes to win, which is obviously spend big, which is make ruthless decisions, etc. And maybe Arteta is the guy that you say he doesn't really want to win as well, or he can't win. So they're in a perfect tandem of just getting, bridesmaids. That's what everyone seems to call us. I just don't see it. That's why I said at the end of the summer, if we don't cover the squad and get what we need, trust me, I'm not going to. First of all, I'm not going to expect us to win the league. I'm not saying I'm not going to hold the club accountable if we don't. But I'm just not going to be deluding myself thinking we're going to win it when I know we're one injury away from X or YZ player from progressing. So that's just where I'm at. I don't know how you feel about this summer or what you think is necessary or needed.
Oh, no, what's
For the
needed?
squad.
We all know what's needed, bro. We need a striker. We out here signing Chelsea backups. But before we get into that, big up to AJ again. Say, KP, please answer me this: one trophy from a possible 22. Is that good enough? Because that's factually what Arteta has done. One FA Cup in 6 years.
No, it's not. It's not good enough.
Yeah. So on that basis, he should be sacked.
Okay. I'll write a letter. I'll write a letter to Arsenal, hoping that they can sack Mikel Arteta. And on that basis, I hope they do it. But end of the day, if all sports was so linear to where everyone that doesn't win is a loser, then fam, we'll be seeing a chop and change of managers constantly throughout sports, which obviously you seem to have to, but that's not necessarily the case, because.
But you know what? The teams that chop and change the most over the past 20 years have statistically won the most. Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. They have the most managers in that period.
What about Man City then? What about Man City then? Or Real Madrid, for example?
No, because Pep is widely regarded as the best in the world, the same as Fergie was regarded.
No, I know, but I'm saying they haven't chopped and changed, and they've won. They've been clearing the
Man City is the benchmark, right? And then forget the Premier League for a second. Just the Premier League, because Pep has won the Premier League 4 years in a row, but there are other trophies that Arteta could have left with. That's why he said 1 in 22. There are other.
No, I agree. That's what I said. I said it's not good enough, but I'm saying Arsenal fans, the same Arsenal fans, if Arteta had been rolling out of Carabao Cups every season, wouldn't come and be like, do you know what? We ain't won the league, but he's won a trophy every season, so clearly he knows how to win. So clearly, do you know what I mean? Like the goalpost will shift to he can win the minors, but he can't win the majors. Do you know what I mean? Just like, for example, if Arsenal win the league this year, I'm not gonna come in here being like, "Oh, I told you so." All my days, respect Arteta. If you guys want, I don't really care, really, in my opinion, because as we all do, we just want to win. But my point of being an Arteta supporter or an Arteta disagreeer, it doesn't really matter as long as it results in Arsenal winning. I have a fear that if Arsenal win, a lot of these Arteta outers, I'm not saying yourself, maybe you might change your tone, are going to find another way to shift it, shift. So you know how it's like.
Bro, I'm on record saying if you win, you stay. That's it.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying a lot of people in the community will be very triggered because it's like, for example,
most of the community is just want him to win, bro. Like like AJ says, 5 years. It's 5 years of nothing, bro. It's 5 years of nothing.
Okay, so then it'll be 6 years and 2 trophies. Then is that any better? Then and you're looking at the scopes of how you're measuring it. If we win the Premier League,
yeah, but then you just can't go another 5 after this 2. After this 2 and another 2 passes, you're like, bro, like it's okay to give someone else a chance. The people who are starchest defenders of Arteta don't seem to believe that no other manager can come in and get anything else out of this.
No, I'm not in no belief.
That's probably what we need. That this squad probably need a fresh set of eyes.
I'm not there yet because I don't see like I don't see signs outside.
You don't think 5 years is enough?
I don't, like the reason why I say this is you and me both. Like if we don't have to do this. Where Arsenal were at when Emery left the club was probably the lowest I've seen.
No, we were 5th.
No, I'm not talking about.
When Emery got sacked, we were 5th.
No, I'm not talking about Premier League position. So, but obviously, I know the position we're at. I'm talking about the club as a whole, how we were being run, the transfers, the wages that some of these players that were crap were on, the contracts that they were on, the vibes around the club, leaks constantly coming out with just nonsense, the disconnect between the fans and the club because of the fact that we were crap, because of the fact that we were not consistent, because of the fact that we can play any game and you can play any game home and away and not know whether Arsenal are going to win or not, or we're going to be conceding 25 shots per game against medium to low Premier League teams. Do you know what I mean? Like the level was low, the level was dark. It was dark, and I'm not saying that was the lowest Arsenal have been. I'm just saying, like I think for me, this is the difference between me and you. I think me and a lot of Arsenal fans. A lot of Arsenal fans want to win, but they don't want to win and win and win and win and win. And to build. Yeah, that's what you just want to win. You want that one win. I don't want that one win. I want to be like Man City, where you expect your club to be competing every single year, and you believe that your club can win every single year, and you should be competing every single year. Because
That's
end of
how
the
you get
day,
there, KP. You have to start
it,
winning something. You just don't
you
start at that point.
now you. That's what I'm saying. So you have to build up to that point. You don't just snap your fingers and then just get a winning squad, because if not, we would have been seeing so many different type of Premier League winners over the last couple of years. But I'm pretty sure in the last 10 years, only 2 clubs have won the Premier League, right? If I'm
Yeah, but
correct.
no, take the Premier League aside. Like Newcastle have won this year. They can build on something. They've won something. They have something tangible to
Yeah,
show that
but then in that argument that you're saying, we won the
they're
FA Cup in the
building.
first, we won the
But
FA
they're
Cup in the first
building.
season. Yeah,
Huh?
we won the FA Cup in the first season of Arteta, which I
And we
don't
didn't
even like
build.
to reference. Huh? We
That,
built because at
that's,
that point we were fifth and eighth like you. And when's the last time you ever seen Arsenal finish? When's the last time you ever expected Arsenal to not finish at least or compete for a title or not to be
so
good?
you see what you say there about the dark, how dark the football was, and we were dark and we were bad. We finished fifth. We never finished. We were as dark as it was, and bad as it was. We never finished eighth. We finished eighth twice under this manager. Twice.
Yeah, but he took over the club when we were in what position, by the way, in
Fifth.
December. So we were fifth in the Premier League when he took over in
We
December.
finished. Unai Emery.
No.
Unai Emery
I'm
had
not.
one full season. Unai Emery had
No,
one full season. He finished
yeah, I
fifth.
know, but I'm
Arteta's
not saying that we
first
did.
full
I'm not saying
season.
that he didn't finish fifth. I'm saying, for example, yeah, like Amarin. I don't know what position Man United were when Amarin walked into Man United after Ten
Like
Hag. Innit?
seventh or eighth.
Do you know what I
Something
mean? But him finishing fifth, well, I don't know whether they finish, is an insult, because you shouldn't finish that low. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where Arsenal was when Arteta walked in, but uh I don't really take that as a thing, because at the end of the day, Arsenal, this Arsenal squad, you will never expect us to finish outside of the top four. Because the
like.
reasons you will say is because we spent enough money.
This Arsenal squad, I expect us to win. The hell with
Okay.
the league finish at this point. At this
Okay.
point, like you know, okay. So the greatest player that's ever played for our club, right? This man has Thierry Henry can be credited with. I don't want to put a percentage, but quite a few hundreds of thousands of people around the world follow Arsenal because of this guy, Thierry Henry. When he says the building is tall now, the building is tall, and that's the Arsenal fans go after him and insult him, send him DMs and say he's jealous of this guy. Now, in what world would Thierry Henry be jealous of Arteta?
I
Thierry Henry,
don't I don't
how can I argue that Thierry Henry actually loves the club more than this guy? Because Thierry Henry is the reason why we can say you've never been invincible. You've done a trouble, but you've never done an invincible. So,
I'm never want to speak on what someone thinks or don't
right.
think. I don't really
But
know
at
in it.
some point, KP, at some point when we're building and you can say we're going into a season and no one expects us to fall out the top four. When you are that good, the expectations come with that. And
Agree.
expectations is we
I
want to
agree.
walk away with a trophy. And he has
And I
had
agree.
5 years.
I have that level, but I don't think he walked into that club when Arteta walked in 2019. I don't know if you're making content at the time. I don't think you would have said Arsenal going to win the league in the 1920 season. I'm pretty
No,
sure you don't have that on record.
no.
Cool. 2021. I'm pretty sure you don't have that on record. Arsenal will win the league in that season either, right? Cool. As you said at one point in the 22-23 season, none of us expected Arsenal to win the league in that season, but we competed and showed the level that we now expect in each season, right? And is what
KP,
and yeah,
KP, brother. Where did Crystal Palace finish the season?
I don't. They
No, no,
finished. I don't
seriously.
know.
No,
I don't know.
you're talking
10th.
about Arsenal's finishes, where no one expected Arsenal to finish or win the league then. Well, no one expected Crystal Palace to win the league this season. Gone. No one. No
Okay.
one. Right. But they left with a trophy. So when you
Okay.
ask me, no one expected Arsenal to win the league in 2020 and 2021, I agree. But I'm saying you don't have to win the league. You can leave with something. Palace left
Also,
with
so
something.
are you saying?
No
So
one
are you
expected
saying? So are you
Newcastle.
saying?
Hold on. No one
Okay.
expected Newcastle to win the league, but they left with something. You have to leave with something. At least make
I
a
agree.
final.
I agree with you. But then, okay, cool. For example, if Arsenal beat PSG, which we didn't, I don't like speaking in ifs and buts in it.
Okay.
If Arsenal made the Champions League final and Arteta became the first guy since Wenger to make Arsenal Champions League final, so 2006, but we go and lose to Inter Milan, which I don't think we would have, but let's just say we did. Hindsight, everyone would have wanted him out, right? Because it's
No,
like
no.
we've got to that stage.
So I'm on record on this channel. Man, most of the people in the chat, most of the people who are Arteta, how would come on my channel. If we were consistently making finals, the energy around the fan base would be different. But you know why? Because Arsenal Football Club actually has a good record in finals. That
I agree.
2020 team that won the FA Cup, bro. Chelsea was better than us, and City was better than us. We beat them both.
Yeah, but then that was under Mikel's stewardship, right? I don't think he just didn't do anything, and Arsenal just beat Man City and Chelsea.
Well, you know why we beat Man City and Chelsea? Because we had a proven goal scorer in the squad, and he got rid of him and haven't replaced him in 8 transfer windows. That's why we blame him for shit like this. He's had 8 transfer windows since Aubameyang. And then 8.
And I'm pretty sure the club are trying to address that. So
no,
like
see,
being
angry. Okay, and this is where we disagree, KP, because I don't think no player is at Arsenal Football Club that Arteta doesn't want. I don't think any player. Oh no, what happened there? I don't think any player is at Arsenal Football Club that Arteta doesn't want. Am I crazy? Am I actually crazy? Because I just looked over and I saw.
I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping work.
Maybach music.
My bad, AJ. My bad, E-Ross. People, I did not kick him out of the stream. I think he got a phone call or his internet's acted up, but I did not kick him out of the stream. I did not, and I will get back to I done lost track of where I was, but yeah, some bigging up going on, some bigging up. Arteta is big up to BX Gunner. Arteta is trying to sabotage everything, being this fraud. Yeah, big up to BX Gunner. Yeah, I was. The people thought I kicked you out of the stream, and I had to tell the people.
No. A little connection issue on my end. No. End of the day,
I was saying though. You said they have given him this and that. I don't. There is not one player, in my humble opinion, there's not one player that's on this Arsenal roster that Arteta doesn't want. I think every player at this club is someone who he wanted, signed, or re-signed. No one, every player that he has had enough time to get rid of the Aubameyangs, the Gandouzis, the bad apples, all of them, man. This is his team, his squad. So
I agree, but I'm saying the only point I have towards last season, like the season was disappointing for many reasons. Not just the fact that we finished second, not just the fact that we lost in the semi-final to PSG and we finished second way off Liverpool, not just the fact that the football took a regress in terms of the entertainment, the fluidity, all that stuff that we all love. But injuries were a factor. My whole point of because obviously you have to respect these footballers, obviously, and everyone that's played football, anyone that's ever experienced an injury playing football, understands that you're never the same. And Arsenal, as I say, as a club, have never done what they need to do to build a roster, even like past the times when we was winning the league, where we had a great team and a great bench and a great squad. My whole point is, I'm going to hold the club accountable this summer to you try to take the gamble last summer on, not investing in the squad heavy to give us the options to boost, like what you're saying. Do you know?
Yeah, so as far as the transfer goes, and you say you're giving him till the end of the summer, right? Or the end of the transfer window.
End of the window, because that's the only time, like not end of the window, because obviously if we get to the last week and we're still talking about, I'm not trying to, for me, the striker should be signed before we play that preseason game against AC Milan, I think it is, which is in 10 days time.
Yeah.
If somehow we're playing that game and there's no striker, or that we're still tussling about price, then I know the club is not serious, and I would know where this window is heading. And I'm not saying that I'm blind to be thinking that we haven't seen this before. I'm just saying I saw unprecedented type of scenarios last season with the injuries to almost everyone that was a 13 player. So how do you now want to go in again and hoping that the surgeries and changing a bit of things is going to hope that some of these players don't get any recurrence? We're a Saliba injury away, a Saka injury away from being in the same situation. Maybe not now.
Going into a season.
What is it?
How do you prepare for injuries going into a season?
I think the main thing to prepare for injuries is having options in the squad. Then that now comes into, obviously, then you can judge, because if Mikel has 2 good options in each position and he's not rotating, and he's, as you're saying, all these situations like, he's playing Saka against Preston or whatever, I can't remember, and 3-0 up. And obviously, and I obviously I don't like all those things, and I'm not saying because you don't have a natural Saka replacement, you can't find some things to tweak around. But my whole point is, can you learn from your mistakes? I think you mentioned that earlier in terms of buying from Chelsea, but I'm just talking about everything as a whole. I don't just look at individual situations. Like if you went through a season where almost everyone buy your goal.
Now, when you talk about manager, he'll pop back in people. I think his internet's doing this. But here's the thing about Arteta. When you say you learn from your mistakes, right? I'm speaking to the chat. When you say learn from your mistakes, do we still consider Arteta a new manager or a rookie manager? He's been in the job for 5 years. Most of us, if you're in a job for 5 years, you're not a mastermind of your craft yet, but you're no longer an apprentice. Like if you wire houses, if you're an electrician, 5 years in, you know a little something. You don't know as much as a guy who's been doing it for 25 years, but you know a little something. You're not a complete rookie. So when you're making rookie mistakes in year 5 going into year 6, that concerns me. This manager has had more chances. His credit has ran out and it stinks already. Yeah, yeah, I hear it, man. And I'm glad KP is on here because this is the thing, people. Most of us in the chat, BX Gunner, the unapologetic, the E Rosses of the world, the Assemblers, the Latvian Gunner, most of us are already far gone and cleared. And we're of the opinion that this manager isn't good enough. But there are quite a few fans on the other side, or not even on the side. There are quite a few fans like KP who are much more reserved to give him another year, give him more time, and put more nuance to the conversation. And that's why he's here, because I like to hear from them. I like to understand how they think and why they think it. You know, to prevent the echo chamber thing. He doesn't trust his squad, but how is that even possible? The unapologetic. How is that even possible? You don't trust something that you built. You know, like in the service, like I'm a paratrooper. I don't know if you can see that thing behind me with the triangle with the flag. That plaque has a static line in it because I'm a paratrooper. I used to jump out of airplanes, right? The people who pack the parachutes, they're called riggers, parachute riggers. They have to jump their own chutes. Right? They pack the parachutes and they have to jump them. They have to trust their equipment. And the guy that's in charge of that squad has to trust his squad to pack those parachutes that we jump from 1,200 feet in the air. So how does he not trust the parachute that he packed? He has packed this Arsenal parachute, so he has to jump it. Every single player in the squad, Arteta wants him there. This squad is built in his image. But if he doesn't trust his squad, that is another criminal offense. Latvian Guna said, what demands his future at the job? He laughs at it. E. Ross, man, big up to you, bro. Hope you are good. At 100%, we have 2 subs at the best, and the rest are painful ones. You can see him looking at the bench to change the game, and all he has is defenders per like subs. But you know what? When Skelly starts and he looks at the bench and sees Calafiori as his defender, he's the one who signed him. He signed him. He could have used that money to sign an attacking player, but he chose to sign a left back, luxury left back at that, while Kieran Tierney was at the club, Zinchenko's at the club, and Skelly was in the squad. So that's 3 left backs, and he went and bought another one. Imagine that. Mr. Batter said, Kape, I think from outside looking in, Arsenal recruitment is the easiest among the top sides because the areas to address is evident. 6 years into the process, you have to win trophies now. No, but there's context, man. There's got to be some more underlying context of why we aren't winning. We just can't. It just can't be the manager isn't good enough. It's got to be something other than him. You know, it's injuries. It's we can't compete with Pep. It's Antonio Conte. He can only do it in Serie A. Now he did it at Chelsea before Arne Slot came in and walked the league. Conte came in and walked the league in his first year. So what Arne Slot just did at Liverpool was impressive, but it wasn't unprecedented because we've seen it. We've seen Antonio Conte do that. Big up BX Gunner again. We took Kai over Isak. We chose to pay 65 mil, 290K a week. The receipts are there. I'll star this one in case Cape Paps pops back in here. Gunner Street has the link as well, people. He was supposed to be here as well, but I think he got caught up. But don't forget the Eddie extension. Yes, sir. The chat is out with the receipt. You have to win something first, says the BX. Then absolutely, you absolutely have to win. Like the conversation can't go. You didn't expect Arsenal to win the league, so how are you upset that they didn't win the league when you didn't expect them to win it? Well, if you're a Palace fan, you didn't expect Palace to win the league, but then the conversation changed. Oh, we're not talking about Palace, but you're talking about fan expectations of their club. So if you can't win the league, you have to win something else. Newcastle wasn't expected to win the league. Tottenham wasn't expected to win the league, and neither did Palace. But, here we are. Here we are. Latvian Guna said, hell nah, it was the Prem UCL. He can stay for one more year. Bro, if he wins both of those, he gets a statue outside. Fuck this manager already with all this sentiment and excuses for this bump. The opinions are strong over here, KP, as you can see. Like, we have fully made up our mind on Arteta. We think we've seen enough. And I don't think that's unfair to say. Because 5 years is a big enough sample size in any profession. In any profession, bro. 15 years. Like, I don't think most apprenticeships last 15 months. But we've given this man 6 years, going on 6 years, the biggest club. Now, the Kroenkes are the main issue then, Arteta. I hear that, AFC. I completely hear that because I need to find AFC in here. I've been trying to mod you for the longest, but when I find you, I'll make sure I do it. The thing with the Kroenkes, is as long as the outcome is income, they're going to be fine. As long as the outcome is income, they're going to be fine with Arteta. Only the fans, who are the true stakeholders of the football club, can uphold the standards of the football club. As long as the fans continue to make their voices heard, something will happen. But when we're quiet, when the majority of us is okay with as long as the outcome is income, we will not move like a big club. Someone sent me a picture in a group chat yesterday, and it was a picture of Rodrigo and a picture of Eze and their market value prices, and said, the question was, which one? And I said, see, this is the problem with us as Arsenal fans. Why are you asking me to choose between Eze and Rodrigo? It's not like they play the same position. If you're a big club and you have a need for both, you go get both. We need Eze. We need a Rodrigo. We need creativity. We need great left wing play. Both of them do that. Why you asking me to choose? You go get both of them, and you give yourself the best chance to win. I'm not trying to hear that. I'd love to see another manager with this squad. Another manager with this squad, unapologetic. All of a sudden, Kai Havertz doesn't start every week because there's no emotional attachment here. I didn't sign you. I don't care that you're on $290 a week. Odegaard, I don't care if you're a Real Madrid wonder kid. Ethan played better, trained better. He gets the nod this week. And as long as he plays well, he stays in the squad. Now, you will rotate and you'll get you some minutes, but the kid is going to play because he's better than you. Quite simple. Or I don't think either you're good enough, and I'll go get an Eze. Trophies over league position any day until you finish first. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to hear any craziness about Arsenal going into the season and it's a matter of you're going to finish comfortably outside the top 4. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We can't live in a world where we're glorifying finishes versus top 4. Because if I asked you as an Arsenal fan, hey, you want to finish second for the next 5 years with no trophy, or you want to finish 5th, but you win the next 5 FA Cups? That's 5 trophies in the cabinet. That puts us fucking six clear of the next closest competitor as far as FA Cups. Because that's what, at the end of the day, when it comes, we're talking about clubs and the size of your club is bigger than this. Your fan base is around the world, and the size of your stadium and how many televised games you get. You have to put your trophies on the table. Babe, come on, bro. We brought 21 trophies, and we should be in an argument. Yeah, just give us 5 of those. Give me 3 of them League Cups and 2 more FA Cups, and we're good with that. Yeah, that's toxic and overpaid squad that Emery Wenger built, won an FA Cup while Alba did, and then and then got ruined. 800 million later, we have nothing. Yeah, absolutely, have nothing. And the thing is, in 2017 and 2015, which was the twilight years of Wenger, the absolute twilight, Wenger still left with 2 FA Cups. I'm not here for the. I don't agree, but I can understand. Man, don't care too much about the EFL Cup. But as an Arsenal fan, the FA Cup, we can't poo-poo that. That is our cup. Man, we won it the most times. We have to embrace the FA Cup more than just it's not a prem, it's not a major. The hell with that. If the FA Cup is not a major, then there's no such thing as a treble because they count it. Kape, Emery would have won a prem by now with Arteta time and money. I can even argue if Emery had 3 cracks at the Europa League, like Arteta did, he would have won one of them because he had 1 crack at it, and he made it. He made it to a damn final. So, it is what it is. Yeah, people. I think the Heat got too much for Kape. So he people, his internet's acting up, so he just messaged me. So if he can pop back on, he can pop back on. But it's all good. It's all good. I'm here for the people. Kape, we have factually outspent Real Madrid since 2012. See, AJ is here with the receipts, man. And we moved to the Emirates to be like them. Yeah. So if we move to the Emirates to be like them, there's no reason I should be choosing between Rodrigo and Eze. You get both of them. The need is there. Liverpool fans, like even Scans will tell you, Liverpool fans weren't screaming out for Verts last year. The concern was to replace Trent. They did that and they replaced their other fullback, and then they boasted their squad with a statement signing. Broke the transfer record. Has that ever happened, by the way? Has the team ever won the Premier League and then broke the transfer record? Yeah, that's what Liverpool has done. Maybe Mr. Battard can tell us. He took over 5th and took us to 8th twice. Yeah. And I'm saying if the squad was that bad and the squad wasn't great, I'm not saying the squad was great, but the squad was that bad under Emery, he never finished 8th. Arteta finished 8th. Twice. So what are we doing here? Yeah, it's but it is what it is, BX Gunner. That's the narrative away from our bubble, if you will. That's the narrative that people run, that the squad was in hell and he has brought us to the pearly gates. And we're just waiting to enter the promised land of trophies. And Wenger in 22 years finished outside the top 4 twice. Arteta finished 6, done it 3 times. Wow, see? Stats that matters, not take-on percentage and field tip for madueke. That dumb shit. We finished 10th with the best manager, George Graham, but won 2 domestic cup double. Was that 93? That was 93, wasn't it? I think that was 93. AFC always. That was 93. Correct me if I'm wrong still. But yeah. Emery was sacked and joined 6th and 8th goal difference with 25 games to play. Freddie took us down to 11th. Arteta took us back to 8th. And the FA Cup, and we were all giddy. But then the euphoria went off, and then it was 8th. No trophy, and then it was start the season 0-3, -9 goal difference. Took 5 at Man City going into the international break. That was a eyesore, sitting at the bottom of the table. No goals scored, 9 conceded, bottom of the table. We were 20th, and I think Tottenham were top. I think that was the first time in the history in the Premier League. Tottenham were top of the table, Arsenal were bottom of the table, and then it was a 1-0 to win over Burnley the following week after the international break that got us going. And that year we finished 5th and bottled top 4 to Tottenham. See, yesterday I made reference to the point that because we've been good for the past 2 seasons or the past 3 seasons and finished second, people forget the first 3 seasons. And we were actually pretty shit. Next season, rinse and repeat. Arteta in the first place. Most of us didn't. Inexperienced manager with his only qualifications was I put out calls for Pep. Ancelotti was available. Flick, Enrique, and more at that time. We signed and extended his contract. And don't forget the 50 million. He was the third highest paid manager in the world before Simeone, before Inzaghi went to Saudi. Win or hit the damn road. Yeah, we'll give Iraola a chance, and in 2 years, if you don't win, hey, that's what it is, right? Since Arteta has brought us to glory, he has brought us to be this good. Okay, cool. You can't take the next step. We'll give someone else a chance, but that person don't get 5-6 years because no one can say that this squad is in the gutters. So we'll give someone else 2 years, depending on how the first year goes. And if they don't win, they're pissed off too. Whoever comes in, we all of us in this chat, whoever comes in after Arteta, we will have been supporting this club longer than they have been paid employee of the club. So we will be here when they leave. Saying nobody expected is a terrible. It's a lazy narrative. No one has expected. No one expected Leicester to do it, but when Leicester found themselves in a position where it was possible, they went for it. No one expected Palace to win the FA Cup. They found themselves in a position that it was possible, and they went for it. Look at Newcastle, for example. Newcastle is a great example, people. Newcastle lost a EFL Cup final to a shit Man United side in Ten Hag. They lost in 2023. A shit Man United side. They lost to them. And 2 years later, they go to a final and beat a better Liverpool side. This Liverpool side that Newcastle beat is levels above the Manchester United team that they lost to. So you get to a final and you give yourself a chance. That's what I said to Kape. Because outside of Baku, we're actually good in finals. Because that Chelsea team was better than us that we beat in the FA Cup. In 2017, in 2020, they were better than us. That 2017 team was the champions of England. We prevented them from doing a double. Mr. Bat at Man City didn't always win all the time. Man City changed 3 managers before they landed on Pep, who then built a dynasty. Arteta inners want to put him in the same pedestal without the body of work. Yeah, the body of work is just it's not there, man. The FA Cup, different style tactics, fifth at best, and everything. And Aubameyang carried hard. We had never played 5 at the back ever since, and been Auba like a piece of trash, pathetic. And the thing is, right, that was the difference. He was the difference maker in that Chelsea final. When he got the ball on that left-hand side, he put Kurt Zouma on his ass, bang. Kai Havertz isn't doing that. Kai Havertz ain't putting Zouma on his ass. Kai Havertz is passing the ball to someone, then trying to run into space, or he's going to have a blocked shot. Mancini and Pellegrini would have won with this squad. Bro, man would have cooked. Big up, Eros. I'm good, man. Recovery's going well, my bro. It is going well. Eros got curtains drawn, AC up, a little bit of famous. It's bliss. Hey, man. Nice weather over there. Nice weather. Endo says, let Latvia and Guna, the more money Arteta spends, the worse the squads get. It's subtraction by addition again. It seems like it's subtraction by addition again. It just keep adding. And if we add out, and I'm mad at KP's internet stuff because I had some questions for him, I had some questions. But one of the questions he did answer when I asked about what the hell do you make of the window taking so long? Because I guarantee you, if Arteta wanted Gyökeres the way he wanted Madueke, the deal would have been done. The deal would have absolutely been done. A real great manager knows how to get the best out of big ego players. No team have won a trophy without big ego players. Speak on it. Ego killer. Yeah, because no ego can be bigger than his. Yeah, he does. I'm gonna pin it in the I put it in the title in a minute, Ross. Well, after I'm done, but he does have one. We don't have a good one position for a striker. We do not. 6 years for fuck's sake. A rookie manager is better than Mikel. Yeah, a rookie manager will actually, be a fresh voice. Not the same old stale. Year 6, and he's in full safety gear, helmet with pads, with the training wheels still attached. Yeah, bro. Just need you to run a red light every now and then, man. Do a rolling stop. You know them ones. You want to tell me after 6 years, Arteta is still on the first 3-month trial at work? Oh my days. Let me see what else we got here. Arteta should have been sacked at Eros after the second 8th place finish. He's lucky to have a 5-year tenure at the club. So when Shane Gooner and I did our stream, that was one of it. That was one of the sackable offenses that week. After that second place finish, after the second 8th place finish, we should have just ripped the Band-Aid off. And then after the 5th place finish, we definitely should have ripped the Band-Aid off, because once he went into that 3rd season, and then we did 50 points from 19 games, everyone got sucked in. We're human beings in it. There was an actual chance where no one expected. Everyone got sucked in. And then the following season, But then, the fog has cleared, the dust has settled, and now it's looking long. Imagine you had surgery, you get a surgeon who doesn't trust his own work, still doesn't know how to do an incision. Yeah, man has never even cut open a frog, and he's about to cut open your kneecap. Make it make sense. And then we had a full Harry Potter with this manager. Arteta is the headmaster. Odegaard is just perfect. Yeah, Odegaard, man. He's that Wi-Fi you buy out the back of CVS. He has that birth receptors, man. Big up, Mr. Battered says, expand on the point around linear with Kape. I struggle to see an argument around progress in football being linear. From overarching perspective, yes, but seasons don't play out linearly. They absolutely don't. 1 + 1 don't ever equals 2 in football. Ever. Because if it does, we would have been champions. We would have won second, first. Liverpool did 5th, 3rd, 1st. Bang, bang, bang. But in the cups, you can do better in the cups. It's what it is, man. He feels like Arteta is doing a wonderful job. He doesn't feel like Kai Havertz is a flop. He feels like if we had signed Madueke from Brighton, it would have been okay. I don't think Madueke was. Can anyone tell me that Madueke has done anything that Pepe can't do? Because Pepe had better numbers. I think Madueke has scored less goals than Pepe last season. And people used to diss Pepe and say, man, his goals came in the Europa League. Well, he scored more goals in the Europa League than Madueke scored in the conference. The damn conference league where they have damn train tracks going through the stadium, A competition that they had no business being in. And Pepe actually scored 10 Premier League goals in 2021. 10, double figures. Double figures, yeah. Madueke scored 7 Premier League goals in the entire season. And 3 of those came in one match against fucking Wolves in a blowout. We should always try to leave with something. Always leave with something. Like the FA Cup, the Emirates FA Cup, it's our shit. It's ours. Latvia and Guna, hold on, you want to tell me there's a world where Kai Havertz doesn't start every week? Well, August 17th, my bro, he starts. He will be leading the line out. It's Saka, Madueke, Havertz, SMH. Shaking my head is what Brother Abs call it. We're going to be all doing this. Watching Donkey Kyle lead us out. Lead us out to glory. Big up to Brother Views in the building. I think Views did a 3-hour stream this morning, I woke up and caught the tail end of it. Man is putting in some serious work. I hope we can link up tomorrow. Views and I have plans to do a stream tomorrow, so hopefully that can actually happen. But he is a busy man in these YouTube spaces these days. Like we're going to say, at the end of for me, it's like that. Even the FA and the Carabao Cup is not good enough for me anymore. I won the trophies, but the jig is up. It's going to be very difficult to sack him after a domestic double. Very domestic double. He definitely stays for me. But like I told Kape, like that doesn't give you another 5 years. You know what I mean? Like once this fan base gets a taste of winning, we're gonna want to stay there. And if you're starting to slip too far from it, yeah, we're gonna have to pull the rug out from under you, bro. You know, we're gonna have to. Just gonna have to. Just can't let you get on like that. As a person that spent a lot of time on the streets wasting time and money aren't a good look. The Cronkies know how to keep their clients satisfied. We have a major problem. Yeah, too many of them are satisfied. Unfortunately, we are not the majority. Unapologetics said, man, we forgot we did a double. We doubled the amount of league titles that Chelsea has. Yeah. But in the Premier League era, they have usurped us. They got 5, we got 3 Prems. And they rubbed that in. Us 2 champs, 2 Europas. And they could lift a Club World Cup tomorrow in a stinky 1-0 against PSG. But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Big up to the chat every single time. 21 of you are locked in. Make sure you hit the likes if you haven't already, people. Please hit that like button. The legends are out in the building, man. I see it. Yeah, man. I've been trying to do it. I just couldn't see you over here in my YouTube studio. But, you know, glad to have you, man. I can't believe. I thought I had already had modded you until I was watching a watchback the other day. Okay, 93. Gotcha. Yeah, thought I had that right. Arteta said win the UCL in 3 years. Yep. He man that damn William. Ed said I usually win things in my second year and delivered on this promise while others are still making excuses. Yeah, imagine if Arteta say come out in this press conference and say, hey, I always win something in my 6th year, mate. He can't because he never coached before. Never, ever coached before. So he has no clout whatsoever. Yeah, man. I got your comment, man. I got you. Win things. So it happens when you type it fast. And one after saying while Arteta trying to deliver in the UCL for 3 years. Yeah, don't forget the 3 years he had in the damn. He had 3 cracks at the Europa. Phone in my pocket. Arsenal, I understand Arsenal have made progress in recent years for Ethan O'Leary's new deal. In recent days for the Ethan's new deal. The club has presented vision, project for O'Leary in the upcoming years, discussions, game time. 1 of 2, game time. Arsenal hopeful to get the green light to sign new contracts soon. How is an 8-year-old needed to convince him to stay? Your manager is a criminal. There's apprehension there. He's nervous. He's nervous. I don't begrudge a young man for feeling nervous committing another 3-4 years to Arteta. I understand him. Please, Ethan, please stay. But I understand your concern, my young lad. Pepe carried us in the Europa League. Yeah, Pepe was cooking in the Europa, no? Now, what is? Are you meant to tell me that madueke is an upgrade on Pepe? And our record signing that Mikel just completely outcasted to the point we couldn't get any money for him. I think he just came off our books like in 2023. You know, ruined them. Absolutely ruined him. Eros, you make sure the phone in the pocket. Endo says, if I was O'Leary, I'd leave, get away from Arteta. I want him to stay, man, because I really don't think Arteta survived the season. I really don't think he survives the season. But, you know, the fact that Gyökeres is throwing a stink, we know that Arteta doesn't want him. I think we can make that assumption that Arteta prefers Sesko to come partner with Havertz. The fact that Gyökeres is throwing a stink, that he's not getting his way, when he comes to Arsenal and Arteta doesn't want him, what do you do with a player that you don't want? You don't play him. You play him when you want to. You can sabotage him if you didn't want him. And if he's doing a stink now, can you imagine what he will do at Arsenal when he realizes that Arteta is trying to ruin his career? He might throw a stink then. So Arteta is very, very. If he didn't want him before, he damn sure don't want him now. Now that he see that he's downing tools, you know. So, and then when people say you didn't pay 50 million for madueke to be a backup, listen. If we get Gyökeres and Arteta has any damn sense, Kai Havertz becomes a 65 million pound backup because Gyökeres should be our starting striker. And then next season, Next transfer window, even in January, Havertz needs to be sold. If anyone is stupid enough to buy him, Bayern Munich, please come to the carpet. Please come to the carpet. But that's what it is. Yes, people. Kape's internet has acted up, so he says. But I'm going to say he couldn't take the heat from the legendary chat. I'm going to say the chat ran him up out of here. this legendary chat. Arteta has seen Gyökeres as an attitude, and we know what that means. Ooh. Yeah, doesn't want him. Gonna throw a stink. How dare you throw a stink at the club that owns you now? Only Mikel is allowed to throw a stink. You want to play in the Champions League? Not like you want to fuck in the Champions League. Only him. So it's a bad look. It's a bad look for them to say, hey, I didn't want you in the first place. Now that you're downing tools, I'm not sure. You're going to upset my dressing room. You're upsetting my dressing room. Eros, you man got Isak, yeah. So, man, every group chat that I'm in with 2 Newcastle fans, that Jordy Dread and D-Man from 90s back, them men are arguing every day over Isak. Isak is going anywhere. I don't think Isak leaves this year. I think it's next year that he leaves. And that depends on how Newcastle performs this season in the Champs and in the Prem. Very, very tricky one for Liverpool. But yeah, Kape Rage, Crit Egal style. Kape will have to be back on here to answer for the crimes, because I have receipts of men telling me that the Gyökeres deal would have been done by Sunday. Well, tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday, and there's no Gyökeres. There's no Glock 19. There's no Glock 19 turning up at the Emirates. So, hey, it is what it is. Arteta's still in charge. With the whole Ethan thing in the contract, Ethan has proven that he's good enough. As a young kid, that's all you need to do. You need to prove that you are good enough to perform at this level, and he's done that. No one can tell me that Ethan hasn't proved that he needs to be. He belongs. He belongs. So now the manager, your career in his hands, and I'm like, okay, what more do you need to see, coach? You see me on the pitch, Cook. I scored more goals than your captain. Mr. Barrett, bro, it seems like it's happening now. Newcastle making moves today for Ekitike. Don't see Isak and Ike. What? No way. Again, because Ekitike, remember Newcastle was trying to get Callum Wilson to resign, but that was clearly a backup move. But trying to get Pedro, that could have been a backup move. It's hard to compete with Isak. It's very hard. That's what I told Jordy Dread. Like you actually, the fact that you have such a good striker is actually working against you, bro. But this is news, Mr. Barrett. Ekitike goes to Newcastle, and Diaz or Nunez leaves Liverpool. Deadline day mayhem. Deadline day mayhem. I'm not even going to stream deadline day. I'm just going to get some popcorn and put my feet up and watch the internet meltdown. Yep, that's what it's going to be for me. But yes, people, almost an hour and a half on a Saturday morning on the Pacific Northwest out of Singapore. Big up to Mr. Battered. Big up to E-Ross out there on the East Coast. Big up to Gary from Don't Waste the Trip. I will go watch you on the watch back now, my guy. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you hit the like button as you pop out of the stream if you haven't already, people. Take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are gone.